Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to World Combat Sports. Salute to each and everyone on this Friday. Hopefully, everyone is doing absolutely great. You know what I'm saying? It's the last day of April. We're about to venture over into another month, May of 2021. That means we're getting closer to some of the bigger fights that's going on in the sport of boxing and mixed martial arts. That's a good thing about it. And for media, it gives us a little bit more to talk about some of these big fights because, the shakeup continues. It's never going to stop. The shakeup continues. We're going to have some matches or some fight cards that, fans are not going to understand. They're just not going to pay too much of attention as to what exactly is going on in the sport of boxing. Why are some of these names popping up more than others? We want to give a shout out to the WCS supporters. You know what I'm saying? One team, one fight, battalion salute. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. I appreciate your support each and every time I'm on this month. Continue to support, like, share, and subscribe, man. If you want to donate, the Cash App is up there. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. Thank you to the ones who already do it, already show support. And that's what it is. Let's get down to it. You see my thumbnail. I had some people hit me up in the inbox, right? And, I take it for what it's worth, right? I always try to explain to people. This boxing shit on YouTube is not always going to be to everyone's liking. Like you will have people in the live chat, just because they don't know who you are. They never paid attention to what you have going on or whatever. They'll say dumb shit. They'll criticize you, insult you, or whatever, right? And usually when I'm on somebody else's panel, I'm looking at the live chat too. And people just say some dumb shit sometimes. And then you have some ones that's cool. But the ones in the live chat, they don't want to agree with me because I'm the visitor. I'm just saying, I have no problem pulling up on people's live chats every now and then, their panels. It's not to be disruptive. It's just to kick it every now and then and talk this boxing shit and then bounce. So I had some individuals, that felt some type of way about me being on the panel. I was on ETB, Money Brown and, Coach and all them was over there. And we were just talking this boxing shit, man. Nothing was never personal with me with it. I tune into them because they be talking some good, solid shit, And, I admit, I tune in to certain channels that I believe I may be able to get an education, some type of education from. Education can be anything. It can be something that's very minute to something grand, right? So the Errol Spence shit came up, right? About me talking Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. And I'm trying to explain to people, they're not doing their due diligence enough to do the research. What's going on, Mitch? They're not doing enough research when it comes to certain things I say. You just think because you heard it for the first time, it's not true. I'm trying to explain to these cats. Y'all looking at Errol Spence as a welterweight unified champion. A brother like me, college degree, retired vet. I am now a civilian. I'm just like the rest of y'all. But a dummy, I am not. A dummy to this boxing and MMA game, I am not. I get down with myself. You know what I'm saying? I demand of myself to learn this knowledge and continue to expound upon it, and then I kick it from there. What I can respect about the debate yesterday, even Batman jumped on. It wasn't something that was outrageous and out of control. It was a pretty thorough, debate amongst the members that was on the panel. You know what I'm saying? And it's salute at the end, and I keep it moving. So y'all make sure y'all follow everything boxing and sports and Money Brown and check them out, man. And salute to, Batman who, he's linked in with the family of the Russells. You probably saw him a lot when the situation going on with the Devin Haney situation and Gary Russell and all that. And then, I don't know too much about Coach. Just like I don't know about Coach, they don't know about me. But let's get right down to it. Mitch say definitely less value than unifying with Crawford. But I can't call Spence an email champ if he beats Ugas for the title, even though Ugas got the belt via UPS, FedEx, USPS. Man, I'm about to get to that. Now, those of you that's tuned in, check this out. I want to tell you something that you may have heard for the first time, right? And I am being petty. I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you. I'm being extremely petty because you have to be petty in this YouTube community. And I don't put that FACTS on the end of my shit all the time. Somebody can say what the fuck they want to say. This ain't shit. But Errol Spence is 9-0 as a motherfucking welterweight. I bet anybody any type of money. Do the research yourself. Just do it yourself. I just want you to. I'm allowing you time to do some research. I'm gonna start off with Errol Spence is 9-0 as a welterweight. Once again, I say this: Errol Spence is 9-0 as a welterweight. Errol Spence is 9-0 as a welterweight. When I continue to tell people this, and being that they pretty much heard it at the for the first time in their thought process, they look at it like, no, he's a welterweight. He's a welterweight. So I want you to explain to me and itemize the criteria for a fighter to be associated with a weight class, a permanent weight class. How many fights does that fighter has to contend in that weight to be considered a member of that weight class, a boxer in that division? What is the criteria that we look for? Is it one fight? It can't be one fight. It has to be more than one. More than one is considered many, right? So let's just give or take Errol Spence the benefit of the doubt. If Errol Spence had 2 fights above 147 and his last fight at 154 and a half, y'all, was versus Chris Van Heerden. And before that was Felix Logreco. Both of those fights was above 147. That was not 47. I've been telling this to this cat, and he said, "What?" I said, "What weight class has Errol Spence been competing in since he?" "What? You stupid? That's welterweight." And I said, "No, he hasn't been competing at welterweight. He's been fluctuating." Errol Spence, once again, if you go from Alejandro Barrera all the way up to his last opponent and Danny Garcia, that is his 9th straight bout at 147 pounds in the welterweight division. His 9th straight fight. Errol Spence was contending at super welterweight because he didn't really have a clue of where he wanted to go. Like whatever is going on, whether he lacked discipline, he lacked focus, something was going on where he was fluctuating in his life as a boxer. He didn't quite know whether he wanted to fight it super welter or welter, welter or super welter, super welter or welter. But when you come down to it being petty, WCS is being petty. Terrence Crawford is 5-0 as a welterweight. Errol Spence is 9-0. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just being honest with you. And also, we want to talk about, resumes at welterweight. Yes, Errol Spence's resume at welterweight will have a bit more elevation than Terrence Crawford at welterweight. Why? Of course, he's fought 4-division champion Mikey Garcia, who I did at no way he could be considered a welterweight. I want to exclude that shit because Mike is a 4 division champion when he fought. But Mikey Garcia weighed in 145 and a half. Very small for that weight class. That was his first fight up there to face Errol Spence, up from 35. Let's be clear. So the credit I would give him, Sean Porter. Yes, he fought Sean Porter for the WBC. And also he fought Kell Brook, who had one loss back in 2017. Kell Brook had one loss to Gennady Golovkin. But he turned around and fought Errol Spence less than a year after that from having a right orbital fracture. Within his welterweight class of opponents, Errol Spence fought Carlos Ocampo, who's 22-0, and don't no one know where that guy came from. Only 2 undefeated fighters that he has fought as a welterweight. 2 undefeated fighters that he's fought as a welterweight. The renowned Carlos Ocampo, who was knocked out in the first round, and then Mikey Garcia, who wasn't a true welterweight. He was moving up from 35. So he fought a lightweight, and he fought an unknown as an IBF mandatory. So we exclude that out. We addition Kell Brook, Sean Porter, because basically they was champions. Danny Garcia came in here with 2 defeats, and we can addition Danny Garcia as the third tier. Why? Because he lost to Sean Porter for the vacant WBC title. So I had to put him, though he has more wins, I have to put him beneath the Sean Porter as of recent. When it comes to welterweight, individuals who are contending at welterweight. Nine 9-0, y'all. But yet, when it comes to Bud Crawford, nothing Bud Crawford did for unifying at 140, nothing he did pretty much earned the respect and praise he should get for moving up and vacating the title. The only thing he did, once he went in there and defeated Julius Ndongo, and he picked up the IBF, right? He picked up the WBA and the IBF title. Julius Ndongo could have brought in that IBO title, but he didn't want to pay sanction fees on it. So he had the IBF and the WBA title. So the only thing Terrence Crawford did was come in there with the WBC and the WBO title, win, vacate, and leave. Before that, he defended his title. But I've heard so many times people criticizing my boy Julius Ndongo, man. I'm not saying he's my boy like that. I'm just saying y'all criticize him because he's attached to Terrence Crawford for unification for Undisputed. He's attached, bro. We end this bullshit today. Errol Spence is 9-0. Anyone, I don't care who you are. You can get on here, yell, kick, and scream all you fucking want. It's not going to change the fact that Errol Spence is 9-0 as a welterweight. He's been in the sport of boxing and had ample amount of time to determine a single division for which he was trying to earn a championship in or start his legacy. He did neither until he fought Alejandro Barrera, and then he started fighting consistently at 47. I hear individuals all the time, and I just sit back, and I really don't even join in on it. You know, I get people, if it ain't Deontay Wilder fanboys, it'll say Bud Riders or whatever terminology. But what is it really when it comes to Errol Spence that y'all overlooking the clarity of his box rec? If you all truly want to pull up his box rec and overlook the fact that he has not been a welterweight his entire career, it's lunacy in its finest. Miss said, I wouldn't have called anyone else who beat Ugas an email champ. So the same applies to Spence. Best thing would have been to beat Pac-Man, but he deserved to get stripped of recess, so I'm cool with that. What's going on, Evis? Andrew in the building. Salute to everyone in the building. I'm gonna get to the email now, but I just wanna speak up on some things, right? Terrence Crawford vacates the title after he defeated Julius Ndongo, but they say, well, that was the weakest unification that you can do. Like when he fought Yorkis Gamboa was undefeated 23-0, man. And they give the man no credit. He was already champion and he defeated Gamboa. Boom, got him out the way. Yeah, he fought for a vacant WBO title to move up to 40. Okay. But Victor Poster was 28-0 when he fought and defeated him for the WBC title. You know what they won't tell you? A lot of them is that just because he stopped Julius Ndongo in 3 rounds, they won't tell you that within a year's time, Julius Ndongo fought 3 times for championships. That's an incredible schedule, man. That's an incredible motherfucking schedule. He fought December 2016 and twice in 2017. That's within under a year's time. When he fought Ricky Burns for the WBA, and he went in there for the WBA and the IBF title, he dropping the IBO for sanctioning fees. Come on, bro. Fought Terrence Crawford. This man said Terrence Crawford hit him. His mind just went. He wasn't even in his mind, whatever he said. He wasn't even in his right frame of mind when Terrence Crawford hit him with a body shot. He had 3 title shots in under a year. Not title shots, 3 championship bouts. 3 championship bouts. And they discredit Ndongo when it comes to Terrence Bud Crawford. They discredit him. But here you have Errol Spence, who's been boxing long enough to determine if he wanted to basically pick up or contend for a title when he had the opportunity, whether it be 54 or 47. But he was just fluctuating like a fat kid with cake. Honey buns, ho-hos, Twinkies. He couldn't determine where he wanted to be at. I'm just being honest. He couldn't determine where the fuck he wanted to be at in this boxing career. He chose Alejandro Barrera to say, okay, this is going to be the fight for me to settle into the welterweight division and let me take it from there. So then, his next fight, look, he fought November 2015, right? And he didn't fight again to 2016, Chris Algieri. And then just another fight in 2016, his second fight in 2016, Leonard Bundu. He had 1 fight, y'all. 1 fight in 2017 with Kell Brook. 1 fight. He fought August of 2016 and came back and fought in May of 2017 for his IBF title, for his first championship bout. He comes back in 2018 at the top of the semester, January 2018, fight Lamont Peterson. Then he comes for a second fight to fight Carlos Ocampo in 2018. That's all the fights he has in his historic career. That's all he's doing, fighting twice a year when it comes time for him to come close to settling in to the welterweight division. It's crazy. It's crazy. So really, you can only pick. You can pick. 2016 is when he actually started fighting twice a year. The division that he decided to settle into, he gonna fight twice a year. But all the other fights he had, you're talking about a dude who's 27-0, but 9-0 as a welterweight. He's 27-0, but 9-0 as a welterweight. What were you doing in your career, bro? What were you doing? So let me get to the email thumbnail. He's about to fight Ugas Ugas. So let's go back to Alexander. What was his name? Alexander Vesputin. That was his name, right? Alexander Vesputin. He was the interim champion, right? Something like that. He was the one champion right above Virgil Ortiz, who was the WBA gold, right? So Vesputin, he pops for a banned substance called Liguria. It's not an anabolic steroid. It's just a muscle repair. It helps your body recover quicker, whatever the case right there. But it was a banned substance. Boom, he's gone. Ugas Ugas. You have Mel. You have Mel. So then Manny Pacquiao, who legitimately fought a world champion in Keith Thurman, defeats him via decision, does nothing with the belt, does absolutely zero with the belt. It's just like Manny Pacquiao been in the sport so long, he's became complacent. He's just like a fighter that they call punch drunk. And, he just basically, doing things and he don't know why he's doing them. You know what I'm saying? He's been around so long, 8th division champion. He's already been at the top for so long. You know what I'm saying? 7 defeats, 62. Come on, 62 victories. And he holds on to the WBA title for that long and didn't do shit with it. So they say, okay, let me put him in recess. Who received the title? Mitch? Anybody in there? When they put Manny Pacquiao in recess, who received the title? D. Hodges in the building. What's good? Mark Nash, what's good? Salute to everyone that's in the live chat. Who? Because I want to get I want to get to the bottom of the Errol Spence, Errol Spence universe that's living under a different type of planet. Because when I say he's 9-0 as a welterweight, people lose their mind. They won't even dare look at BoxRec because they know Errol Spence was kicking rocks most of his career. Over half of his career. I said the same thing. This is not the first boxer that I've broken down, and told them about what they've been doing half of their career. Errol Spence had ample amount of time, but who received the title when Manny Pacquiao was placed in recess? Who was it? Now, if Errol Spence is next up for Ugas Ugas, if he's next in line for Ugas Ugas, doesn't that further dilute his unification for a fighter who was just gifted? Who did Ugas Ugas? What is going on here with this WBA title? You want to basically clown and devalue Terrence Crawford at 140 for fighting a champion who fought somebody for the belt. And Dongo fought Ricky Burns. He fought Edward Travanovsky. He fought him. Travanovsky was undefeated when he fought him. I don't give a damn who his name is, because every time it's a Travanovsky, look, every time it's a name outside of Gennady Golovkin, people don't want to pay it no mind because they like familiarity. They like the Lomachenko and Gennady Golovkin. But you say a Travanovsky, oh, nah. But he was champion, though. Juice and Dongo defeated him. He was undefeated. So he came into the Crawford fight with 2 straps, absent of the IBO. Crawford had the WBC, WBO, and the lineal title. So my question out to those individuals who are boosting up Errol Spence: why is this man 9-0 And the only two fighters that have O's on their record, they can be canceled out because Mikey Garcia weighed in 145 and a half, which that was his first fight at 147 from 35. And then Carlos Ocampo was an IBF mandatory, which was pulled up from the barrel of the depths. No one knew who he was, and he was knocked out in the first round. Am I missing something about him fighting Kell Brook, who less than a year stepped back in the ring after being stopped by Gennady Golovkin? They threw in the towel, y'all. But it's a dude that told me that that Kell Brook was undefeated at 47. So they trying to so who am I to sit up here and try to educate somebody and say, well, when you lose at a lower weight class, does that loss only register if you're currently contending in that weight class, or does it carry over in your career? So you compete in the next weight class, in the next weight class, in the next weight class. Is that loss following you, or does it remain and stay in place? No, it follows you. It's concurrent, right? This shit is concurrent. This dude said he's undefeated all the way up to fighting Terrence Crawford. He was undefeated when he fought Errol Spence in welterweight. I say, oh my God. This can't be true. This can't be what I'm hearing. You can't be telling a brother like me that Kell Brook was undefeated at welterweight when he fought Errol Spence. Like it fucking matters. He took a beating from Gennady. And the question is like, well, he should have took that fight. That was good. We don't care what he should have took. What we care about is the fact that he took it. It's recorded. He lost. And he came less than a year and he fought Errol Spence. He lost in similar fashion to the left eye. Terrence Crawford was never the one in welterweight saying that he's there to unify. He's already unified. He was undisputed at dang 140, junior welter, super light. I mean, whatever you want to call it, junior welter, super light. It don't matter. I might get people confused, but I'm just saying he's unified already. He never came up to the 147-pound division saying, my primary goal is to get all the belts. But he did say he wanted to fight Errol Spence, though. He was told to get a belt. Everybody was on that same anthem. Get a fucking belt. And then to get a belt, people want to point the finger at Crawford as of what's going on with him right now. Everybody want to say, oh, well, you're doing the same shit Errol Spence did. You whining about shit. Bob Arum go out and say, as much money as I lost on Terrence Crawford, I can buy a house over here. And I'm like, why did Errol Spence have to regurgitate that shit? Why every time you hear Errol Spence talk, he's talking about what Al Heyman? Well, Al Heyman. Let's talk to Al Heyman. You know what I'm saying? Are you the spokesperson? This is all I want to know. Are you the spokesperson, though? Because we all know promoters, there's obstacles. You know, promoters can be difficult. You know, the paperwork isn't always smooth. You know what I'm saying? There's some administrative splinters that you're going to go through in any type of signing that you have going on when it comes to contracts. Especially it's all according to how your team is built around you, how solid they are, how informed they are, if they're educated on the subject matter. It all depends on a lot of shit. So when you ask me questions about why Crawford doing this and why Crawford doing that, that's bleeding over to information that I can only have if I was in his camp and they were speaking directly to me. The rest is considered hearsay. I can tell you my opinion, but you shouldn't believe it because it's just my opinion of what I see from the outside looking in, right? That's all I can tell you on that. But how should we accept this fight with Ugas? I'm not gonna lie. Yordenis Ugas is one of the lesser, the lower tier champions at welterweight right now. If you compare him to Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman, Deshaun Porter, and Errol Spence, he is considered that. I'm speaking of Keith Thurman because he was a unified champion at one point, right? Sean Porter was the IBF and the WBC champion, right? So when you compare Yordenis Ugas and what he hasn't completed, when Errol Spence attaches himself in a bid to unify the 147-pound division, shouldn't you extract Yordenis Ugas and say, you know what? I mean, that kind of fragments his whole unification. Is that not an email belt he's about to pick up? Because nobody in their right mind is expecting Ugas to go ahead and defeat Errol Spence. I mean, we might have a Buster Douglas. We might have an Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua. We might have one of these damn far-fetched upsets. But I'm not the one to say it. I'm not going that route. I don't see Ugas defeating Errol Spence. What I can tell you is, what is the value of the WBA super title when it's coming from Yordenis Ugas? Mr. Knuckles in the building, salute to you. What's good? What's good? Giving Ugas the belt sounds like a greasy backroom deal to really put the belt in Spence's hand. That's how I feel. Talk that shit, Andrew. Talk your shit, bro. That's all I'm saying. I think Crawford is better than Spence, but now most boxers, they just want to stay undefeated and fight Uber drivers. So undefeated is good in a way, but it's proven in mixed martial arts that undefeated means nothing. It's proven in boxing that undefeated means nothing. The reason why I say undefeated means nothing is because many of the greats that we talk about on a regular basis do not have undefeated records. A lot of them. You know, they want to keep on bringing up Rocky Marciano, man. You know, I mean, come on already. Rocky Marciano wasn't the greatest fighter. He did what he had to do. He took an extensive amount of punishment. He had that dang powerful right hand he called Susie Q. But Rocky Marciano was in some battles. He fought some people that was over the hill like many. But anyway, back to the topic. It's not about undefeated. This is about Errol Spence Jr., who people are saying, and he said himself, he's the best welterweight. But as a welterweight, he's only 9-0. Errol Spence is only 9-0 with a 27-0 record. Don't you think it's fair to say that he has some explaining to do? Like, if you're 27-0 and you're 9-0 as a welterweight, why are so many individuals just combing over this as if it don't matter? Oh, they'll go up here and say, you got 3 fights. If you fight 1 fight as a welterweight and 2 fights as a super welterweight, and then go back down to welterweight, that means you're a welterweight. No, it doesn't. We're looking for consistency when it comes to you settling into a division. And right now, 9-0 is Errol Spence. 5-0 is Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford does have Kavaliauskas and Jose Benavidez as undefeated fighters on his record. But people don't want to give them credit because they're trying to compare them to Carlos Ocampo. I'm asking myself this, though. You have Mikey Garcia, who's out. Everyone. Mikey Garcia has a better boxing. history. All right. Better legacy than Kell Brook or Sean Porter. But Errol Spence doesn't get credit for Mikey Garcia like that because he was coming up 2 divisions. Just like they don't give credit, they shouldn't give credit to Lomachenko for defeating Rigondeaux. He came up from 35 to 47 first fight. It don't matter if he was undefeated. He hasn't fought at that weight, and he was still a light. He was light in the ass when he fought Errol Spence. So for Errol Spence to want to unify and then pick up an email belt from Ugas Ugas, it kind of tarnishes and blemishes everything he has going on with this undisputed shit. The same stuff his people saying, and he's not getting any younger. He's not getting any younger. Every time he come out, he want to make it about money, 70-30. Now, he want to drop it down to 70-30. But yet they want to jump on Crawford because they don't know who he's fighting or whatever. He's saying he don't want to fight Errol Spence no more. But what was it in the beginning? Terrence Crawford was letting you know that his interest and motivation was to fight Errol Spence. Errol Spence say, I'm going to take the easy route. I'm going to fight Sean Porter and whoever else. You damn right you're going to take the easy route. Because Bud Crawford is no way, shape, or form someone you would have selected before fighting Sean Porter. Because you feel deep down in your heart, Errol Spence, that you probably wouldn't have made it to fight Sean Porter. You would have been back there riding shotgun, looking at everything play itself out. Terrence Crawford scoops up your IBF. He goes on fight Porter. Scoops up that WBC. And then whoever else, Pacquiao would have kept the title at the time. Potentially would have fought Pacquiao and closed this shit out. 2-division undisputed champion. I know people don't want to look at that and marry it up, but goddamn it, I just did. That could have happened if Errol Spence would have, chose to have some cojones and say, you know what, let me fight Crawford first. But no, boxing is a business first. And you have individuals that rather fight on the same side of the street because it's easier for them to make that choice. It's easy opponent for them in Errol Spence's mind to fight Sean Porter. This is the same Sean Porter who lost to Kell Brook, a champion. I'm talking about when he took Sean Porter's belt, and then he turned around and lost to Keith Thurman, a champion. So he stepped in there with Errol Spence. He lost to another champion. How are we supposed to feel about him picking up a belt via email? He said he was on the verge of collecting all the titles. He's still going to have lower respect than his stablemate, Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo, he collected the belts. He's collecting the belts the right way. It's only one more out. There's one more sitting out there for him. That is it. Done. But then again, people say, "Oh, that was Jason Rosario." But you don't want to give him credit though for who he defeated. Like J-Rock defeated Jarrett Hurd, and Jarrett Hurd lost to Jason Rosario. So you got to give Jermell Charlo credit. But are you going to give Errol Spence credit for Ugas Ugas, considered one of the lower tiers of champions when it comes to the welterweight division? What I want to do is ask y'all to do this, right? When y'all sitting up here talking about who has the best resume at welterweight, you just need to ask yourself who's did more in their boxing career. Who has done more as a productive fighter in their boxing career? That would be Terrence Bud Crawford. He's done more. He's a Hall of Famer. Period. Terrence Crawford is a future Hall of Famer. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's a Hall of Famer. When he hurt Errol Spence's feelings and told him, I don't need you to cement my legacy, I know that shit hurt. That shit hurt to the motherfucking core, bro. I understand it. He said, I don't need you to cement my legacy. I just want the fight because you're a big name over here. I'm calling you out. I want the fight, but I don't need you. No matter what people say, no matter how they criticize Ricky Burns only had 2 losses when he fought Terrence Crawford. You have to hold him accountable for the move he's about to make with your Dennis Ugas. It's nothing really important except the damn title. But the value of the title is devalued. And the appraisal is quite low coming from a champion like your Dennis Ugas. And Ugas is a good dude, man. I truly have nothing bad to say about Ugas, but I'm just placing him in my conversation because he is in the position holding that belt. I have to speak on how he received that belt. He slid into the spot with Besputin because Besputin, he was suspended. And then Manny Pacquiao, he didn't have a clue what he wanted to do with the belt, so they put him in recess. The same code I kept with Devin Haney and everybody else, I'll keep with this. If you get there and get your ass whooped, your opponent gets credit for whooping your ass. However, it is fair to mention the information. So you saying if Errol Spence get there? Or if you get there, if your Dennis Ugas get there and his opponent being Errol Spence, whoop his ass because he's been there. You know, he had some fights. He had, some fights with some names or whatever. He got there. Like one of his better performances leading up to his last 2 fights was Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? He looked good against Sean Porter, but he didn't get the victory though. That's the bigger part of it. He didn't get the victory. He was up there throwing his hands up and showboating, and I'm like, dog, you're trying to come on, man. What are you doing? You need to defeat the champion. To be the champion, you got to beat the champion. I don't know who was telling you that you was ahead in the fight, or they didn't remind you was fighting Sean Porter, bro. So now you go into this fight with Errol Spence, and you're still gonna lack respect. But they ain't gonna fuck with. Look, they're not gonna fuck with your Dennis Ugas like that because first of all, he speaks very little English. He's really the most we ever seen him on social media is when he received the belt and he was walking around taking pictures with it and doing all this other shit. He was celebrating, but he's happy to have a belt around his waist. It's almost similar fashion to Rolly Romero winning the belt against Jackson Mariñez. He was going around taking pictures, saying I'm the world champion, all that. But when it comes down to it, bro, you need to go in there and defeat a champ. You need to defeat the champ, period. You have to go in there and defeat a champ. That probably confused the hell out of Spence. He was probably like, what does he mean he doesn't need me? That's not what Al said. He said, that's not what Al said. Man, listen, he probably will the fall and got, Al. Terrence Crawford said he don't need me for his legacy. Don't worry about that. I'm still going to pay you well. I'm going to keep you fed. and you're gonna have the best time of your life. That's what I do, baby. That's what I do. I'm gonna keep your pockets heavy, and I'm gonna keep your boxing rec selectively steady. We're gonna cherry pick as much as we possibly can. Once the cherries are all out, we're gonna see what the next move is. That's all I can tell you there, Spence. Who told Spence he's a spokesperson for Al Heyman? Who told him that, man? Who told him that? And then this ain't no hate. This is talking boxing. Like we have to get out of the judgment or the finger pointing saying somebody hating on somebody. It's hate for a fighter, but yet they're doing the same thing. If you support one fighter and you basically criticize the next, it's not hating. I mean, some people hate. I think there are truly some people out here that hate. But why should I use energy hating Errol Spence? I'm just talking about his career. The man is 9-0 as a welterweight. WBC and IBF champion. What I must credit him with, he has defended his titles. I have to give him that. He defended his titles. But this next title with Yordenis Ugas doesn't get the maximum value because of how Yordenis Ugas received the titles. If he would have went in there and fought a champion for them titles, then I would check the box and I would give him all the praise and adulations he deserved. But that's not where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? That's not where I'm getting. That's not the energy that's radiating from Yordenis Ugas. He knows it. And what's fucked up about it, they're not even really trying to give him an opportunity to keep his belt. Like they put them in there with a motherfucking top tier contender, Wolf. They put him in there with Errol Spence immediately. Like that's just like when Julius Ndongo was facing freaking Crawford. He picked up the WBA title and then he steps in there next with Crawford. So he has to defend his WBA and IBF title against the lineal champion and the WBC and WBO titleists. No pussyfooting around, none of that. Boom, your third championship fight in under a year. Go ahead. Who was your team? Yordenis Ugas should say, hold up, pump the brakes. I know I'm going to get a good paycheck, but let me fight somebody else. Let me get another paycheck and then go over here and fight Spence because that's going to be a tough fight. Let me get another paycheck first and let me go over here and fight Spence. Period. Let me try to get paid as a champion first. Let me do this, man. Just allow me time to make money, and feed my family and then, go in there and fight Spence. But they want to feed him quick. They want to feed him to the shark quick. Get him up out of here. We need to start narrowing down and working on this fantasy fight that they call Crawford and Spence. I'm giving credit to whomever beat Ugas. Straight up. Crawford supporters would love for Crawford to get the Ugas fight, just as Spence supporters are happy he's in line. That I can't disagree with, Mitch. I can't disagree with the supporters from both sides being excited about either one of Crawford or Spence getting the fight. But I also have to take a look at it like this also, that Errol Spence, I'm speaking more so of how his fans elevate him to this hierarchy as if he's this superior boxer in the welterweight division, as if Terrence Crawford hasn't done anything in his career. Terrence Crawford has done much more than Errol Spence in his boxing career. He has more wins. He has more divisions and weight class as a champion. And need we repeat that he was undisputed at junior welter? Should we also repeat that he's undefeated? He's undefeated at the welterweight division. Should we say that he stopped all of his opposition in its entirety at welterweight? All of them. Give him his credit. But Mitch, I will agree. I mean, both sides would definitely want to go in there and fight for that WBA belt. But the only thing I'm trying to get people to understand is that if this fight was meant to happen between Crawford and Spence, it would happen. But I get the feeling sometimes that the procrastination process is more so to see how long they can keep Crawford on the end of the rope. You know what I'm saying? See what moves he's going to make. See if it's a way that he can vacate that title. See if he can actually lose the title and they can fight whoever. You know what I'm saying? Any type of inclusion, anything to pretty much disrupt or distort the clear path from them going from Errol Spence all the way over to Terrence Crawford. They want some type of adversity in between that. If Terrence Crawford is higher than you on the pound for pound list, what point does it make to continue to say you're the best welterweight? Because if you're the best welterweight, wouldn't that put you on the pound for pound list if we're talking about current divisions? Because Errol Spence, he's right, below Crawford, and he's contended in 9 bouts as a welterweight. So he's contended at super welterweight and welterweight, but his current division is welterweight. But he's on the pound for pound list. He's on the pound for pound list for defeating a Kell Brook and a Sean Porter. A big part of me want to say, well, this might be a popularity list right now rather than a true pound for pound list. Real talk. I'm not saying that Errol Spence cannot become a 3-division champion before his career, before he laces up the gloves, you know what I'm saying, and hang them up. But I'm just saying right now is he's a bit overhyped. A lot of what he's been doing in his career is kicking rocks. And over half his career, he was just fluctuating and doing what he was doing. I don't know if he was having buckets of chicken every now and then, eating some motherfucking cupcakes before practice. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but he was able to stay undefeated. No one's gonna respect that WBA email title. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm pretty sure people hype you up and say, "Oh man, he's the best. He's the best welterweight." They're gonna be sending him emails in the inbox. No, forget 70-30. Forget 70-30. Go 80-20. You got 3 belts. Go 80-20. I mean, they're gonna be coming out their mouth with some dumbass shit, man. But I agree with that last comment, though. Let me put some of these comments up. I agree with the last comment, though. And Andrew, I agree. He was quite confused on all of that. He was quite confused for real. But y'all just take that, pass it around a little bit and let them Crawford fans. I'm not gonna give them a cliche title. You know what I'm saying? The ones who support, Errol Spence. Let the Errol Spence fans know that when it comes down to it, your man is 9-0, and he doesn't have a stellar welterweight record. He had plenty of time during his 27-0 career to get it in. and settle into a division. And probably he would have been champion by then. But people want to give excuses as to what he had to do. He was a black fighter. It wasn't that easy. It wasn't this, that, and the other. And we ain't talking about none of that right now. We're talking about what we know to be clear, concise, and to the point. He is a unified champion, but he's the one been pushing the message of unifying. So if you're going to unify, let's try to make this shit happen before 2032. We don't want y'all coming back fighting on Triller. I'm not going to be there taking pictures. I get a phone call. Hey, man, just reaching out to you. I don't know what you got going on today, but do you know that guy that you used to mention years ago? I think that Daryl something. Him and that other guy, Crawfish or something, Crawford. They're fighting on goddamn Triller. Yeah, it's just amazing. These boys could have fought a long time ago, but now they fighting. And one of them, from what I understand, had the oxygen tank coming into the building. Man, when these dudes are gonna fight, Shouty? Oh my God, man. When are you gonna fight, for God's sake? When are y'all gonna fight so we can clear all this up? There's money to be made in this fight. There's money to be made. Put your money on Crawford. Put your money on Crawford when it comes to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Put your money where you know you're going to get your return. That's all I'm saying. But y'all take it easy, man. I'll be back on here, man. I want to talk about this other important situation that's going on. But I just want to put that thumbnail up there so people can tune in and kind of have an understanding that your boy Errol Spence Jr. He is overhyped right now until he's stepping there with the best welterweight in the division in Terrence Crawford. And also as a 9-0 welterweight fighter, stop boosting up or injecting all this crazy praise into his welterweight record comparable to Terrence Crawford, when Terrence Crawford was doing what he was supposed to when he found out he wasn't doing anything in the Olympics when they kicked him out. He did what he's supposed to. He started winning championships. You know what I'm saying? He started increasing his divisions. He started going on, establishing his career. And that's what it was. I mean, you can criticize it all you want. He did what he's supposed to do. He did what he's supposed to do. That's why his career is years ahead of Errol Spence. But y'all got to stop including the culture in this shit. Errol Spence barely even say anything to y'all. He barely even acknowledge y'all fans. But when he does jump on here, it's to say something crazy. But y'all attach him to the culture, and the man is no way even close to the culture. If that's the culture that's keeping him on the pound for pound and in your popularity contest, then I can say the same thing for why y'all dogging out Terrence Crawford, because I don't see Errol Spence doing just a little bit more than Terrence Crawford when it comes to self-promotion. Errol Spence don't do too much more than Terrence Crawford. Y'all hold it down. I'll be back. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm out.